This looks so much better. Okay, perfect. So this is gonna be my first ever actual video, where I genuinely like share my own opinion about something, and what is fat people. Now, I am not the biggest fan of them. I'm not the biggest fan of fat people. I don't really like them. You know, they're not my favorite. And this is coming from a place of having been unhealthy myself. But the thing is I don't necessarily hate fat people as much as I hate lazy fat people. Lazy fat people genuinely upset me to a point where it's it's kind of irrational. I see some lazy fat person out in the street. You know, they're not doing anything. They're just walking into McDonald's, ordering as many fucking sludge meals, the double McGulp fuck you meals, as much as they can, and you know they just stuff their fucking face, not doing anything to improve themselves, not doing anything at all to try to make their lives better or make themselves healthier or contribute anything to society. And I think that's a damn shame because I feel like there's a lot of pretty awesome people hidden underneath all that blubber, and you know I I just there's something about lazy fat people that upset me, and it's because I see potential. I see potential for people to be awesome and look good and this, that, and the third, but they don't do anything about it. I see a fat guy working out in the gym, and the first thing I think to myself isn't, wow, what a fat fucking lard ass, you know, what a butterball. I immediately think to myself, I'm like, you know what? There you go. That's somebody trying to make themselves better, and I respect that. I can always respect that because the want to be better is better than actually being better. The want to chase that dream, the want to improve, the want to be better than who you were yesterday, that is always so much more commendable than seeing some like clavicular like guy, and he's like fucking mogging everybody. I will always respect that way more because the want to be better is something everybody should have. It's just basic human instinct. It's basic human determination, and I feel like a lot of modern society downplays that. A lot of modern society just tries to make you think like, oh, being stagnant's fine and not improving is fine because you're beautiful just the way you are. No, no, it isn't. And I'll show some fucking pictures or something. But there's genuinely people who are so absolutely unhealthy, and we're fine with it. I see these like elder millennials on TikTok, and they're just like, oh, no, these big people, we should respect them and love them and all this stuff because they're beautiful just the way they are. No, you are going to die. You are going to kill yourself. You are going to kill yourself from being how incredibly unhealthy you are. Dress code is going to be all black at your funeral, and it's because you keep fucking shoving these double quarter pounders with cheeses and the 10-piece McFuck you meals, and it's a shame. We should stop. It should always be cheaper to get some nice healthy meal than it should be to get a goddamn Big Mac. If I and I completely understand it from a monetary aspect too. Some people can't afford to eat nice and healthy all the time, but you have choices. You have choices. I go into Popeyes because it's the only thing I can eat for 10 miles. I don't go in there and I'm like, mm, you know, let me get a chicken sandwich, put all the sludge in it, extra breaded, yeah, I'll take some more of that sauce. Yeah, come in my burger. No, I go into Popeyes and order blackened chicken because it's got the least amount of calories, it's got the most amount of protein, the best macros. Get some mashed potatoes with gravy with that. You got a decent meal, and it's not going to kill you in 50 years. And that's what I think a lot of people don't understand. It's purely decisions. It's decisions you make in your everyday life. Every single day when you wake up, you make choices. Your life is 80% decisions, 20% everything else that just happens to you. And when you wake up in the morning and you make the decision to pour yourself a bowl of cereal and have a donut, you're already having a bad morning. When you go to sleep at night and you decide to stare at your phone, just, you know, ruining your fucking blue light exposure, ruining and killing off your brain cells, and then you wake up in the morning and ask yourself, "Oh, why am I in such a grumpy fucking shitty mood?" Because you made the decision. You might not have been completely aware of the consequences, but ignorance and negligence does not excuse you from the consequences of your actions. You know, it's the same thing in the law. Negligence of the law does not prohibit you from breaking it, or however it's said. I like, truthfully, there's. I remember when I went to Spain. There's this one guy. His name is Maddox, and I remember the entire time. You know, we'd be talking about getting some Burger King or some fast food or something because we're all, you know, drunk and partying, and he'd tell us, he'd look at us straight up and he'd say, "No, I can't eat that. I'm not going to allow myself to eat that because it's going to ruin my diet." And he's one of the best looking motherfuckers I know. No homo. Like, genuinely, Buddy looks like a Greek god. And it's because he chooses to be. It's because he makes the decision constantly to improve himself, whether it's sleep, his diet, how he's acting, who he's with, what he's eating. All of that stuff, it factors in. It factors in who you are and what you do and how you look. I, every single day when I wake up, even no matter how fucking shitty I feel, I get up and I wash my face. Why? Because I know that if I don't, I'm going to look like crap. It's going to impact me. Making that decision every day, no matter how much I don't want to be clean, stay hygienic, to improve on myself, that impacts me. The amount of times I've been told I have some of the clearest skin people have ever seen, and it's all because I just constantly push myself to do it. It's not about what you want, it's about what you need. Your body is the only thing that you can change. Nobody else is looking at you and saying, "Buddy, you have to eat that crumble cookie. You have to get the 4th of July Patriot cookies right now with the 1,400 million calories in it and the 48 grams of sugar, or else we're going to murder your family." No, you went on the Crumble Cookie app and you looked at what they had for this week and you said, yummy, yummy, yummy. You know, like, that was you. You made that decision. No one else did. I sit down at the dinner table with my family, you know, enjoying a nice meal, and I don't have to go for a pint of ice cream when I'm done. No one's making me. So I don't. Because I already had a nice, nutritious meal. And then you know what I do afterwards? I go on a fucking walk. Because that post-digestion walk, that's a decision I can make. Maybe I don't want to go on a walk. Maybe it's fucking hot as shit outside. But it's going to improve me. So I do it. Not because I want to, but because I care about myself. I have enough self-respect where I can say to myself, I'm going to do these things that I don't want to do because it's good for me. And sure, you know, I'm a little bit of a hypocrite. I'm kind of a bit of an alcoholic and I like to smoke. And that's absolutely detrimental for my health. But on the other hand, you know, cancer over diabetes, I'm picking cancer. I would rather get a lung transplant than need insulin shots every single fucking day or week or whatever. I would much rather need to get a new liver than need to lose 300 pounds. And sometimes it upsets me, all right? I have a brother, and he's autistic, and he doesn't do a whole lot. But he does like to eat. He likes to eat like a fat fucking pig. And every single time I see him, and I see him eating crap, I tell him, like, you shouldn't be eating that. You shouldn't be eating that because it's going to be bad for you. You know, and it doesn't come out of a place of spite or negativity. It comes out of a place of, I want to see my brother healthy. I want to see my brother live a long, happy life. I want to see my brother nutritionally sound. I want to see my brother absolutely in tip-top health. You know, you don't understand how much things impact your health until it impacts your health. I've seen people absolutely have awful things happen to them, and it's because of the decisions they make. I'm thinking of quitting smoking soon because I just recently saw my dad have a fucking stroke. Stroke almost killed him. And the the biggest reason he had that stroke is because he's a smoker. He'd been a smoker for such a long time. Obviously, there's other influences on it: his cholesterol, blood pressure, stress, age, all that. But the biggest contributor to his stroke was smoking. It's bad for him. He always knew it was bad for him. He always knew it would one day catch up to him, and then it did. And I like seeing the people in my life be healthy and stick around for a long time. I like knowing that, when I go to sleep and wake up in the morning, that the people I care about are still going to be there. So yeah, obviously, if I see my friends eating, 40-piece chicken nuggets, 2 baskets of fries, and then a water burger, I'm going to tell them, you're eating like a fat fucking cow. You're eating like a piece of shit. Because it's going to affect them. It's going to affect them later on in life. And, I think we all should value being healthy. I think we should all value, being conscious on what we put into our bodies. And there's so many aspects to it. I don't agree with the whole, movement that RFK Jr. has had, where he's saying that raw milk is okay to drink and stuff like that, because it's not, and that's such a unhealthy and toxic way to think about it. Oh, let's not trust science. No, trust science. Trust science, because science, if we build up our science, it builds up our medical health. If we build up our medical health, our citizens are healthier and live longer and are more productive and are happier. Genuinely, nothing will impact your mental health more than being healthy. Your physical health translates to your mental health. Your mental health translates to your social health. Your social health translates to everything else in your life. I have some of the most amazing friends that I've ever had in my life right now, and it's because I constantly am choosing to improve myself. They constantly want to see me doing better. They constantly want to see who I'm going to become and what I can become, and it's healthy because I choose to be. I recently, started working out a lot more, and I remember when I first told myself, like, I need to start working out more. One part was like, oh, I wanna look good, and I want other people to think that, like, I'm so awesome and cool. But now I'm in the best health I've ever been in my life, and it's not enough. There's more I could do. There's more I can improve on. There's more that I can fix and work on and try to do. There's more things that I can cut out of my life. There's more things that I could do less of. There's more things that I could do more of. And I'm constantly thinking about this because I want to be all I can be. And I'm not going to stop. I could go stagnant and just stop and just, be happy with who I am now. But that doesn't get me anywhere. That's not going to do any good for me. It's just going to make me worse.